Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the April 19th Board of Selectmen meeting. May I have a roll call vote, please?
You can. There are
Roll
five
call.
selectmen present, town council, and the town administrator.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Solomon, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Okay, formal position I have to be in? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will do Board of Selectmen announcements. Mr. Slavin, do you have any announcements, sir?
Let's see, yes, I have one. Well, the wife told me I had to say this or else. Arbor Day and more, presented by the Wareham Garden Club, funded by Massachusetts and Wareham Cultural Councils. April 21st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. AD Makepeace Company, 158 Tohonet Road, Wareham, Mass. Please join us for our Redbud Tree Seedlings Giveaway. Free soil testing, Plymouth County entomologist talk, story circles, floral design workshop, and so much more. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Manise?
I am good, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Titlebaum, announcements, sir?
Just a reminder that the spring annual and spring special town meetings are next Monday, the 25th, 7 o'clock. I don't know that a decision has been made as to whether it's going to be in the auditorium or back in the gym this time. I think it is the auditorium?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
they got the lights, okay. It's been in the gym the past couple of times due to the fact that didn't have good lighting in the auditorium, but I guess that's been rectified. So 7 p.m. next week. This is, the citizen legislature. You show up, everybody who's a resident has an equal vote, and you get to determine financial and property implications for the town.
Thank you. Thank you. I only have one, and that is, we have some really special recognitions this evening, and we've sort of figured out how we're going to do it carefully and in an orderly fashion. But I have been asked by the individuals who have been doing a lot of work for the Wareham Tigers if they could address this board. And yes, you may, Mr. Solomon and Mr. Chadwick. Can you step forward? And you'll have to use one of the mics that has a green light on it. And identify yourself for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Jared Chadwick, president of the Wareham Tigers.
Damon Solomon, multi-role, multifaceted, volunteer for the Wareham Tigers.
Thank you.
I would first like to start off by saying I want to thank the town of Wareham for their generosity and huge amount of support for these athletes to get down to Florida and to compete and to win. And I want to thank the Board of Selectmen and our town administrator for being able to use the Hammond School, because if it wasn't for everyone here, we wouldn't have had a season. So you guys are winners as well. So I want to thank you very much for that from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. Without any further ado, I'll let Mr. Solomon talk. He's our cheer coordinator, and he can explain everything else.
Thank you. Mr. Solomon.
No pressure at all from Mr. Chadwick, but he pretty much stole all the thunder there. But it's true. Everything he said was I can say it verbatim and just put a little more affliction on it. But it's important to understand, or that our athletes understand what it takes to make this happen. And it took a village, and the village answered. The coaches we have, our parents that raised the funds, they did it. Like, they went around and knocked on doors, literally knocked on doors, shook hands, and a lot of people in town saw what we were trying to do, and they supported us. And really, this is Wareham's win. Like, it's not just us. It's not just the selectmen. It's not just the athletes. It's a big win for Wareham. So we're happy to be the ones bring home the trophy, or rings. They're getting rings. It's not trophies these days. They get rings. So, but thank you again from the bottom of my heart as well, and I can speak for the coaching staff we have. The athletes, they had an awesome time down there. Like it was really like a magical experience. No pun intended. It was Disney, but it was a great time, and they work hard. You see us in that Hammond school. They're in there harder than our football athletes. They're harder than our flag football athletes. They put in work more than any other sport we have. So it's deserving what they get. It's deserving where they went down there and they won. They took home a ring, and that's for where we started and where we are now. And that's a testament to where Wareham believing in us. And now hopefully we can do it again, just not as expensive the next time, we hope.
Thank you. Do you gentlemen, any of you have any questions of these two young men?
No, I just would, if Jared can find me a bow tie like that, I'd appreciate it. I know it is.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on with the program. And the program is going to be, as we explained, Mr. Tropiano is going to be standing in the corner of the desk, and he will be handing each young lady and her parent or guardian who may be with her the award that we have made up for them. After each individual child has come up and gotten her award, we also have a team parent award, and then we're going to ask the 16 young ladies and all of the coaches to come in so that they can get a picture, and I'm guessing that WCTV will be able to pull, you can get copies of the disc as well, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, I did practice the pronunciation, so Alexandra Lavelli is not here. So we will skip over her, but we do have her certificate for her. Amaya Burton. Come on down, Amaya. Yep. And we'd like you to stand on the, that's it. Excellent. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Ashlyn Duggan. Hello, ladies. Awesome. Thank you very much. Nice job. Ava Prunier. Brianna Whitney is not here with us this evening, but we do have a certificate for her. Chelsea Tiernan.
Good job, Madam Chair. Chelsea.
Dad, too.
Awesome. Chloe DeRosier.
You go, Chloe. Nice job.
Awesome. Delaney Bierce.
You go, Delaney. Nice job.
And Gloria Georgakis.
Gloria, here you go.
Haley Lapine. Did I do that one right?
Close.
Okay, close.
Haley. Here you go. Nice job. Ready to take it over there? Good job.
Lydia Kirkland.
Here you go, Lydia. So much. Nice job.
And McKenna Duggan. McKenna Duggan.
Duggan family. Here we go. McKenna. Here you go.
Nadia Prunier. Yep.
Nadia. There you go.
Nevaeh Merritt. Hey. Oh, I remember you. Awesome. It's nice to see you.
Yes, you too.
Rhiannon. Yeah. Rhiannon Bierce. Excellent. And Riley Brundage. Awesome. And we do have a team parent, Cammie Bierce. Come on up. Yes, good. Nice. Very good. Okay, next step is going to be all the 16 young ladies and the coaches, please. Right up here, sort of on those black marks. Right, with your certificates, gals. You're going to... Keep coming this way, ladies. Come closer this way, yep.
Yep.
School teachers have.
Oh, they know. We used to form it up.
They know exactly what to do.
Hey, when you win a lot of trophies, you have to do this all the time, right?
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing.
Let's grab this chair out of the way. Chairs out of the way because to get a really good picture.
No problem.
I hope someone's getting a really good picture.
Because I've practiced doing this before.
Yeah, you did? I don't want
And
to
you
get
guys
that.
want to come in and get pictures from you.
For everything.
Yeah.
For our meetings.
Come on in and take pictures, ladies and gentlemen.
Lots of practice for this.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like Noah's Ark in here. Definitely.
What?
Awesome. Yeah, the big one on the wall. That one up there. Say pizza or something, you know?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yay! Nice job, ladies. Thank you.
Little on it.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, and it's really nice to see young kids doing really well. Thank you so much, coaches, and your entire, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're going to go to board's comments. Mr. Slavin?
Okay. I mentioned last week, we brought in the people who own the, who bought the Depot gas station down on Depot and Street. He met with Ken Buckland, Director of Planning and Economic Development, and he's been given a set of instructions of how to go ahead and develop the property for what he wants to do, which makes it a lot easier to know up front what he's going to have to deal with, et cetera. I'm looking forward to seeing that whole section they get redeveloped. A couple things. When I ran the first time, I remember I lost about 50 signs. They didn't blow away or anything. They were just taken or whatever. It seems to be the standard course of how things work back then. It kind of went away for a while, but I know that one of the candidates, Ron Bessie, lost about 5 signs. It doesn't sound like much, but it seems to be back again where someone's taking signs actually again, which is kind of a shame. The other thing that's happening right now, and I made a comment, I think a week ago on it, is the on the Deacon School program and stuff for reuse. I made the comment about, you know, the idea of putting something together. I think I made it in the Finance Committee as well, that the comment that the Council on Aging is going to take over the Deacon School on July 15th, whatever it was, is really not a true statement, and it puts our seniors with an idea that something's going to happen that I don't think it can happen. I don't think anybody has the right to do it, and I'm questioning whether or not, you know, the signs out there right now are saying that the, you know, vote to take over the school. I wish people would spend some time looking at the charter, the bylaws, et cetera. Town property still is under the control of the town administrator, and I think, you know, the information out there is kind of misleading. I'm probably I know I'm the oldest one here as far as actually pressing for a community center, and I'm probably the one that wants it the most of anybody. But I don't want to put something together that's going to mislead people and turn out to actually, not destroy, but put things back years because of things that are misleading. So please spend some time, ask some questions, so you know what you're really voting for. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Muniz, board's comments?
Yeah, it's interesting times, and people often have a lot of emotion when they're doing things. So maybe they're not making things as clear as they would like, or understand things as well as people think they should. But I think the heart's in the right place. We're closer to getting to community center now than probably in the last 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, if we can work this out. Otherwise, we're back to square one, because I don't see $14 million rolling into town to do this. If so, I think everybody would step back and say, boy, that's great. Otherwise, let's utilize the best place we might have, if we can do it, and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Titlebaum?
Yeah, just further in that regard, you know, I know people are eager to see something happen. I know people are eager to see, you know, a change of venue for the Council on Aging from where it is existing. You know, it is an old building, and it's, you know, not the most beautiful thing in the world. But we've got a committee that's tasked with giving a report to town meeting by the fall. I believe they've asked to do an interim report under the Occasional Reports Article 5 on the regular town meeting warrant to let us know where they are in the process. I understand they've, you know, I don't know if they've hired the consultant that they were looking to hire yet, but I understand they're in the process for doing that. So, you know, things are in the works, so we have to allow the committee to do their work, and I think that's important. They've got multiple things to look at there, too. You know, there was a prior Serpent report that suggested some uses. I'm sure they'll wind up going through that and taking a look at it. I know public safety people have indicated an interest, so they should go to this committee and talk about it. So there's still a lot of work to be done. You know, I have my own thoughts about that, but in 2 weeks they're not going to be all that relevant, so we'll just leave it at that. The second thing is, yet again, I keep hearing that somehow I didn't resign correctly. The latest threat is that somebody's going to sue the town because I put 8 p.m. on Election Day as the time by which I leave. This person and even a candidate apparently believe that somehow or other, if I'm in office at the time the election is being conducted, it makes it an illegal election. This is not true. Whoever succeeds me in the 1-year seat is going to be notified well after 8 p.m. of the result of the election, and they won't be sworn in until the clerk certifies the election. So my departure is taking place before the conclusion of the election. This is the case with terms that in regular fashion. And in fact, I will be departing before Selectman Tropiano does, technically, because my resignation comes at 8 p.m. He's actually not off the board until his successor is sworn in under state law. So I pity the fool who goes into Plymouth Superior Court the day after election to try to overturn it because they've got this wacky understanding of the law. I actually kind of look forward to it because the last time I saw a judge's face turn purple in the Superior Court was around 2007, and it was because of me. So I'd be happy to see this happen to somebody else. So don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe legal conclusions from people who aren't election law experts or familiar with elections law. And let's stop the nonsense, please.
Thank you. Mr. Tropiano?
Okay, I'll just say one thing. I want Alan with the signs. You know, I love this because I remember, oh, sorry, my thing's off, I apologize. So I remember when we used to run years ago, signs used to disappear like crazy. It was crazy land. I mean, there were people out at night running around the night with trucks and taking signs and people moving other signs into places and all that. And that kind of happened a little bit, but it's not as bad as it used to be. But I just want you to know that I've been around a long time, and I voted, I'm 68, I voted since I was 18 years old, and I've never seen a sign in a polling place. Not one. Never seen one go into a poll and make a vote. Not one of them. So the signs don't mean much, folks. I hate to tell you. And by the way, I want you to know I've won the sign war many times and lost the election. Just gonna say. All right? So, you know, don't play those baby games. Come on, let's just enjoy the election and move on.
Thank you. I would like to remind people that signs, if they're on private property, you must ask the person who owns the property for permission to put the sign there. If it's town property, you can't put it there. And as we did last week, we authorized a sign czar to remove those signs that were improperly placed on town property. So I just would urge you to think about where you're putting your signs. The other thing is that this board will be meeting on the 25th, which is town meeting, at 6 o'clock prior to the town meeting. We also I have a regularly scheduled meeting on the 26th, presuming that the town meeting does not go more than one night. That would be a regularly scheduled, and it will be a Zoom remote meeting on the 26th. We will also be having a meeting live on May 2nd in this room. And then on the 3rd, we are going to be having a remote meeting. The reason for this is that Mr. Slavin will be not available, and I have some business that I need him present to partake in. On the 10th, we will be remote again, and that will be the last meeting that I run. So I just want to let you know, the 25th and the 26th will be, the 25th is in the high school auditorium. The 26th, our meeting is actually in the cafeteria before town meeting. Then the 26th, we will be having a remote meeting for the Board of Selectmen at 7 o'clock at the regular time. On May 2nd, which is a Monday, we will be live in this room again. On the 3rd, which is the Tuesday, we will be remote, and on the 10th, we will be remote. And, yeah, I'm really working you hard. Yep.
Yeah, she's milking you and me pretty hard before we hit the road.
Yeah, exactly. Want to get my money's worth. The other thing is that we do have...
15th Amendment prohibits this kind of thing.
We do have an executive session this evening. We will be not returning into open session after that, so.
Next up is
Thank you.
licensing permits. We don't have any appointments. So, I'm gonna move that we approve these secondhand dealer licenses as written on the agenda. Everybody has on the agenda now. There are some of them that are missing a couple of things, so I'm gonna ask that all these licenses be hold till the last few things are caught up. Most of them are pretty good, but there's some that are missing a few things. They've all been notified of what's missing.
Mike, honey, sorry.
They've all been notified of what's missing. Okay, so they get them in and they'll get their license. If they don't, they won't. It's as simple as that. So I make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, and I will ask not for a roll call vote. All those in favor of saying aye?
Any discussion on this?
Oh, yeah, sure. Discussion?
Yeah, okay, thank you. I agree with Mr. Tropiano, except on the one related to the tax collector. Has that been resolved yet?
The individual business does not own the real estate they are renting. It's the same issue that came up last year, and we renewed the license. We can't hold up a license because that individual or that business is not responsible for the taxes. We did okay it last year.
Yeah, we did.
It was the same problem. Yep.
Yes, we can.
Well,
Yeah, I know we
it's
can.
an issue, I think, if it's the same business and they haven't stepped up personally, I think it's an issue.
You know what,
They-
Judy?
Yeah.
I think we need to ask council about that, because I'm pretty sure we can hold the license.
Okay, go ahead. Mr. Bowen, if you
Can you
choose
weigh
to
in on
answer.
this, Rich, please?
Oh, of course. I'm always glad to help.
Thank you.
Back when the particular statute, I think it's Chapter 40, Section 57, when it was first adopted, was known as the Revenue Enhancement Bylaw. So it was a REAP bylaw. And when it was first adopted, there was ambiguity about whether you could apply it to tenants of landlords that were delinquent in their taxes. And so the legislature, after fooling around with it for a few years, clarified that you could do that. The town, what the statute does is it authorizes the town to adopt a bylaw. And it's my recollection that when the statute was first adopted, and we're going back to maybe about 1990, the town adopted the original version, the pre-clarification version, if you will. It's also my recollection that sometime before the year 2000, the town ultimately amended the bylaw to include the clarification that the legislature had included in the statute. So it's my belief that you could, if you chose to, apply the provisions of the REAP bylaw to tenants of landlords that were delinquent for taxes, provided, as the statute and bylaw require, that their names have appeared for at least 1 year on a list prepared by the treasurer collector, and that they be given notice of appearing on that list, and that they have the opportunity to work out with the treasurer collector a payment agreement. So the key elements are, have to be on a list. It's not enough just that they owe. There has to be a physical list. They have to be on it. And they have to have an opportunity to work it out with John if they choose to. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask, Mr., if we gave you, they are on your list. May I ask you a few questions? I'm guessing the board would like to ask you a few questions. Mr. Troy Bannon?
Yeah, I think, obviously you have a list of various odd individuals or people who owe taxes, so it's on a list. Have you had any contact with them?
I don't know, I have no idea who you're speaking about.
He doesn't know who you're talking about.
Okay, so why don't you, it's okay to mention it, it's
Well, I
public
mean, isn't it
information.
just another form of hold
Yeah,
when you get down to it?
yeah,
It is.
we can just hold it until it's paid.
Yeah.
And he either
No
pays
further
it
ado.
or he doesn't get the license. We'll just do that? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we have to confirm with council, make sure we ticked off all the boxes he recited.
Yeah, he's throwing boxes at us.
No, I would never throw boxes at you.
Let me get mine.
They'll be easy boxes. What you may want to consider is just holding on this particular application for the moment. Notify them about the issue and invite them to meet with Mr. Foster to try to work it out. And
Good
then
idea.
Are they in tax title right now? Do you know that?
Hang on.
I'm not sure. Who is it, by the way?
I'm
Jim?
trying to find
I
it.
forget.
It's, let me get back to the list up here. I'm going through all the paperwork.
And this would be
Just
the,
refer the Roman numeral.
this would be the tenant,
Yeah, just
not
give
the
us- give us-
landlord.
Give us the Roman numeral.
It is the Clam Shack Antiques, 3249 Cranberry Highway.
Okay.
And I note that the business that is applying for the license is not the owner of the real estate. So the real estate is 3249 Cranberry Highway. And he simply rents the property.
All right, I'm going to amend my motion to, and I'm going to withdraw that particular one for now. We'll hold it out. we'll make the notifications, have the office make the notifications, and then you can bring it back next week or something like that.
Well, I have a question. Who are you notifying?
We have to notify the landlord and the tenant to let them know that you're gonna hold them to the statute.
Yeah, if you're gonna hold up the tenant because the landlord's not paying, you'd have to notify both of them.
I think so, yeah.
with that.
You sure 3249?
That's what's on the license.
3249 is what it says, yeah, Buzzards Bay, Clam Shack Antiques.
Buzzards Bay.
It's Buzzards Bay because it's that end of the thing, they use the Buzzards Bay post offices. The unique thing about about our beautiful town, we have 5 post offices.
Clam Shack Antiques, the establishment is 3251. The mailing address is 3249,
Well,
right?
that's interesting, huh?
Oh, so it's got two numbers on one
So,
property.
You got it?
There'd be only
One at a time, please.
3251 shows up, 3249 doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that they didn't buy this too long ago, I don't think.
All right, so why don't we just pull it out?
7
Okay,
years
pull it
ago.
out. So
All
could
right,
you,
so I make them.
could you restate your motion, please,
Yes,
sir?
I will make a motion that we approve as written and hold anyone that's not completed, with the exception of the Clam Shack Antiques, which is apparently 3251 Cranberry Highway, Buzzards Bay. And that one, we have the office notify both the landlord and the tenant that we're gonna hold them to the statute, and that they need to get a hold of Mr. Foster and deal with the issue.
Is there a
right.
second to that motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? 500.
All right, next up, I move we renew the Gateway Golden Pond broker's license for 290 Main Street, Wareham.
Second.
I don't want to get into any of this again.
Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of renewing the license?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
All right, so next is discussion and possible vote to approve the golf course bond sale. So I have it here,
Peter's going to read.
and Peter is going to read it. Did you
Yeah.
give it to him?
I
Oh, good.
did, yeah,
So
but we need
Peter will, when we make the motion, yeah, all right? So, can you come up, Mr. Foster?
Sure.
Beautiful. All right. You want to give us your little spiel?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick summary. This is the $1 million borrowing authorization on the golf course. We received 4 bids. We went out to bid. We received 4 bids. The lowest bid was from Robert W. Baird and Company, Inc., with a true interest cost of 2.61%. Overall, pretty well. I mean, we thought we were going to be up over 3, and we came in at 2.61. And I think you have all the documentation there.
It's right here. Yes. I've got all the bonds and stuff right here.
Can I just ask you one quick question, Mr. Foster?
Yep.
You and I have had this discussion, but what do you expect interest rates and bond rates to do in the next?
They're increasing now. I mean, you're looking at mortgages right now around 5%. Not too long ago, they were down in the 2s, so things are increasing. And we're lucky that we've had most of our borrowing take place over the last year or so. All the recent borrowing has been at good rates, so I think anything in the future is probably going to be higher than 2.61%. They're all increasing.
They're increasing because the feds are going to try and hold off the obviously rampant inflation that we're going to be facing.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Peter.
Okay, get my tongue loosened up here. Vote of the Board of Selectmen. I, the Clerk of the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Wareham, the town certified that at a meeting of the Board held April 19, 2022, of which meeting all members of the Board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the Board in my custody. Voted that the sale of the $980,000 general obligation land acquisition bonds of the town dated April 28, 2022, the bonds, to Robert W. Baird & Co., Inc., at the price of $1,042,003.80, and accrued interest, if any, is hereby approved and confirmed. The bond shall be payable on November 15th of the years, and in the principal amounts and bear interest to the respective rates as follows. Year 2022, amount $100,000, interest rate 4%. Year 2023, amount $100,000, interest rate 4%. Year 2024, amount $100,000, 4%. Year 2025, $100,000, 4%. Year 26, 100,000, interest rate 4%. Year 2027, 100,000, interest rate 4%. Year 28, 95,000, interest rate 4%. Year 29, 95,000, 4%. 2030, 95,000, 4%. Year 2031, 95,000, 4%. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the bonds, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated April 5th, 2022, and a final official statement dated April 12th, 2022, the official statement, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the town treasurer and the board of selectmen be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver continuing disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12, in such form as may be approved by bond counsel of the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the bonds for the benefit of the holders of the bonds from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds and to comply with relevant security laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents relating to the bonds, collectively, the documents may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original, all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transition shall be as effective as delivery of a manually executed counterpart signature page of such document, and electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the Board of Selectmen, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, and other documents as may be determined by them or any of them, or to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken in a meeting open to the public, that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the time, place, date, agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or, if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General, set forth in 940 CMR 29.032B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting and remaining so posted at the time of the meeting that no deliberations or decision in connection with the sale of the bonds were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Laws, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25, as amended, dated April 19th, 2022, signed Patrick G. Tropiano, Clerk of the Board of Selectmen.
And I have certified and attested to it.
So that's the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it is unanimous. And we will now,
They can sign that, and we'll
Yep.
move on to the next thing. Next is a discussion and possible vote about a lip on a 40B project. And I have
you're all
that.
set. Tomorrow morning in the office.
Could we have Ken come down, please?
Thank you.
And also, I believe, is
Mr.
the...
Boschman, I believe.
Yeah, is he here? Come on down.
Yeah, I'm Brian with GAF Engineering. Lynn Sweet, the consultant, I think is just pulling in. She was running a little late, so I apologize for that.
Okay, we'll move on then for, we'll give you, yeah, we'll just move on.
Action item, and when
Yep.
she arrives,
Thank you.
Discussion and possible vote to appoint a member of the Board of Selectmen as a liaison to the Cable Advisory Committee. As you all know, Peter had that before, and he's gonna be gone, so.
And I volunteered to do it, so, well,
You're
the
a glutton
only,
for punishment.
yeah, I am a glutton for punishment, but Mr., yes, Mr. Slavin?
I was gonna, actually, I didn't know what you were gonna do that. I was gonna basically suggest that right now, there's only two of us that technically could be in place for the next couple of weeks because of the election coming. And then after the election comes, then we go back and look at it again. But I'd appreciate if you'd step up for now.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea because we're already in discussions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we can't stop right now.
Right, we can't. But that was one of the reasons, because there will probably be only three of us who are sitting at the table at the moment. So,
So, if I may speak to this too?
mhm.
I was gonna suggest the same thing, as we're having elections, that we might wait. I know I had brought up the issue of, Mr. Underhill being on a voting member, or a member of the board, when Peter was put on it, and they said, oh, well, it was basically said, well, he's been on it and he can serve on it. And so this is a little change. I understand it, I agree with the change. I don't not agree with the change.
We have two members.
I-
We have two members who are residents of the town of Wareham, as well as
I
Mr. Underhill.
understand that. When I
Okay.
brought it up earlier, it was stated that it was okay for him to serve on the board.
Mhm.
So now it seems it isn't. I don't have an issue, excuse me, I don't have an issue changing it. I just think we should let people know there is an opening, if it's a selectman's position. I didn't know that it was just slotted for a select person.
This is a liaison. We're only talking about a liaison to the committee.
Okay, thank
We're-
you.
Well, it says right here on the,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. So I would suggest, again, that we are already in, they've already had two meetings that I know of. Yes, sir.
My suggestion would be to make a motion that we basically place Mrs. Whiteside as a temporary, let me just finish so it's clear, as a temporary representative for this particular committee, effective, and basically
Liaison.
is effective until May 10th.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? It's a liaison only.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
All right, next
Mr.
up,
Buckland, come on.
let me do this one quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I move that we ratify the hiring of Tyler Besso as a full-time mechanic for the municipal maintenance and water, Crumbly labor?
Walter Crumbly is a
Walter.
Walter
yeah.
Crumbly, yeah.
Motion made. Is there a second? Further discussion on the
Gonna put it
motion
on
to
my-
appoint, to
Yep.
ratify those hirings?
Yep.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it is unanimous. And now, Mr. Buckland, would you introduce your sidekicks?
All right, that takes care of that.
Steve Boschman and his consultants, Lynn Sweet, LDS Consulting, and Brian Grady of GAF Engineering.
Thank you.
And they have a local initiative program application that they'd like to submit to the town. It requires the Board of Selectmen to approve it and accept it and send it on to DHCD if you feel it's appropriate to be developed as a local initiative program project.
Okay, thank you. We were all given a copy of this. We were sent a copy of this, I believe, on Thursday. It was not in the packet, came separate from the packet. One of the things I noticed was that there's a lot of blanks in it, although there's some pictures of, and renderings of what the properties would look like. And I know that this is something that Mr. Boschman has done previously in basically the same location.
These are actually the new houses that he built on the
Yes, they
corner
are.
of, what is it, Tyler?
Tyler
Yeah.
and Chapel, yeah. And they're very nice looking.
Yeah.
You know, the packet is certainly complete as far as I'm concerned. Do you choose to address the board in any way? It's a blank packet, which we just need to okay.
Sure. Hi, Lynn Sweet with LDS Consulting Group on behalf of the applicant. So this all did come about rather quickly. We had been looking at, there was a housing bylaw in place that we had been looking at using for this project, and it seems that there is some uncertainty around that bylaw. So we did pivot to looking at this as a friendly 40B, pretty much the same project we would have done under the housing bylaw. So you are correct, I have not actually filled out the DHCD application yet, but was not sure whether or not the board was familiar with what goes into filling out an application. So I think that what we're here today looking for is approval basically of the concept of building 6 rental apartments at this location, the townhouses that are being proposed. And we can certainly come back at a later date with a completed application and a letter for you to sign if that is the will of the board.
I note that 2 of the 3-bedroom units will be income restricted to households earning at or below 80% of the AMI. The units will be approximately 1,120 square feet. And again, Mr. Boschman has certainly experience in doing this. Mr. Slavin, do you have any questions of the young lady or of them?
You be seeking any kind of financial assistance from the town down the line?
We are not. This will be privately financed.
Okay, we'll make sure that's definitely there. Without that, I can't vote for it.
Yeah, okay. You all set, Mr. Tropiano?
All right, so I know the property a little bit, I did a little homework. So the property used to have a church on it. Correct. And it took us forever to get it torn down. It was a mess. And thank God it is down, because it really was, it made that neighborhood look terrible. And I actually did a couple of septic systems once across the street from the property, on 2 properties over in the same road. And it was not a pretty sight, and right behind the school as well, so. But I also bothered to ask a couple of questions. It seems the neighbors are all in favor of this. They seem pretty excited. I didn't see anybody say, no, I don't want this, or anybody yelling and screaming about it. I took the time to go over there anyway. And I saw the 2 units that he built. I don't know if anybody saw those 2 right on Tyler. They came out nice. He did a nice job around them and so on and so forth. It's a nice, small project, but it's gonna have some affordables in it. I think it's a kind of a win-win for the town, myself. I can't see it not being a win-win for everybody. This is the kind, I'd rather have more of these than those 150 unit things that we've got going out, elsewhere. I'd rather have this by
Thank you.
far, so that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Manise?
Agreed.
Yeah. State.
What I'd like to know is, right now, we have Woodland Cove started. Are they on the second stage there now?
No,
No, they're still in the first phase.
I saw them putting up another elevator shaft.
Yeah, they're proceeding in pretty much a pace at building the project at this point.
So
They're-
is
they're
that the
try- They're gonna be
second
tearing down
building?
the motel in a
Right.
matter of weeks as well.
Is that the second building that they're putting up with that elevator shaft?
The second building, yes.
And how many units total will there be permitted at this point in time?
The other one.
That was the other one. I believe it's 36 units per building.
So the 2 buildings?
Buildings are-
2?
3. Is it the Dakota project?
Yeah, the
Yes.
Dakota.
Okay, hang on 1 second, I'll tell you.
yeah, they have 1 building up at this point, and it's not even finished all the way to the top.
It's permitted though, right? And those
it's
units count
permitted.
towards the,
They only have funding for the first phase from the state at this point.
Right.
So,
It's money issues.
I didn't see, the words actually just came out the other day. I did not see them getting awarding for the second phase. And then for third phase is, I think, a small amount of like 18 or 20
It's a
market
small
rate
building, yeah,
units.
right.
So they're pretty far away.
so how many of these units that they're putting up there are going towards our subsidized housing count at this point in time, or inventory?
All of the units in Woodland Cove will go towards them.
No, that are permitted, that count at this point in time,
All the ones permitted are going towards our SHI,
which is,
which is however many units, it's about 36 units per building.
does that help us at all?
Of course, it helps us go towards our 10%.
Until they're complete.
Yeah.
That's right, but they're still permitted at this point, so we expect them to be completed.
Correct, but until they're complete, we don't count them. They can't be counted.
Yeah, doesn't help right,
They're
That's,
completed and occupied.
doesn't help
So-
right now.
do you mind if I
Hush.
pitch in?
Yeah,
on
no.
this
Hush,
one?
hush, 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 one at a time.
If I may. So when a development actually gets its permit, and that is filed with the clerk and not appealed, it can automatically go on your SHI for a year. If they haven't pulled a building permit within a year, they come off the SHI.
Okay.
So with the Penrose and Dakota projects, because they're phases, they're gonna kind of be going on and coming off. So at this point in time, you are not at your safe harbor 10%, if that's what, the question is. And I can give you the unit counts now that I brought it up here.
So how far are we towards getting a year or 2 waiver of 40B?
So he's talking about the
Developments.
production?
Yeah, he's talking about production.
Production and housing production plan, and
I would have,
I don't think that they're qualified to answer that question at the moment.
well, I'm
I'd be happy for
That's
Ken and I
okay.
to put our
You know
heads
what?
together.
And
but,
we're not really voting on anything tonight, so I'm good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
yeah.
Mr. Titlebaum?
These 6 units would get counted on the SHI. All the units, even though
I
only 2 of them are affordable, all of them would
And
go
they're-
towards the SHI.
Thank you. Mr.
And-
Titlebaum?
well, let me
Oh, I'm
finish.
sorry, I thought you were
Um,
finished.
So there's 18 bedrooms on that?
Correct.
I know we had spoken before, and it was same number of units, but less bedrooms. I think it's a decent proposal. I know the others that he did came out nice. They were not LIP programs or counted on the subsidized housing inventories. And so I'll entertain the idea, and, you know, we'll see how we can move forward when you come back.
Thank you. Mr. Titlebaum?
Just, my understanding a couple of years ago, when we were looking into where Littleton would put us, in conjunction with Woodland Cove and, you know, whatever exists, you know, presently on the SHI, I believe it was going to get us close to about 9.5%, if I
A
remember
little bit more than
correctly.
that, actually, yeah.
So, you know, those will put us sort of within spitting distance, if you will. But, again, you know, this is somebody coming in with what we would consider a friendly 40B project. And I would hope that even after the town hits 10%, that it would continue to entertain friendly 40B projects. I think the goal should be to turn away the larger ones that are not so friendly. And, you know, we've seen a couple of those come into town over the past 15 years. So I would support it for that reason alone. It's a good project. It's a proven developer who's done some good units. And so I have no issue voting to let you go forward and do what you want to do.
Thank you. And Mr. Mr.
Yeah,
Carpenter?
it's in a terrific location, as far as the way it would nestle into there, it would be really nice. It wouldn't detriment the neighborhood at all, the way I see it, looking at it. And I've seen it, like I said, I bothered to take the time to go down there, because I saw it was coming up. So, but, the other thing is that I'm not so sure that when we hit our 10%, that's gonna be it anyway. Because the legislature has all intentions of keep pushing affordable housing. And they can say, all right, you're at 10%, but we want you to be at 12. They can do whatever they want to do. And I'm not so sure that that's going to happen. But these kinds of projects, these are the ones we want. These are the ones we got to make sure we get on board, not those big monstrosities.
Excellent. So you need from us tonight a positive reception,
Vote
So
to
that we can
endorse?
vote
proceed.
to endorse?
Yeah, I think what it would be wonderful if you're comfortable basically voting to approve signing the application and providing a letter of support, assuming that when we get you the filled out documents, they meet your approval, something along those lines. I don't know, you know, because we just want to make sure before we go filling out all the paperwork,
That's a big deal.
that there is,
Yeah.
it sounds like, you know, it sounds like I'm hearing a lot of positive support, so we'd like to, put the application materials together very quickly.
So,
I don't have a problem with that.
I would say fill out the material and bring it back.
Well, I'd make a motion that we, yeah, I mean, Jim, you know, to fill out one of those reports for nothing is almost crazy. It takes
I think-
countless hours, I mean, hours and hours to do. And on a big project, nobody cares, because there's lots of money in the project, and they're gonna push it down your throat. But when you're doing a friendly 40B, we wanna sort of give you the hand, and I think this is one of those projects. I'm
do I
just saying.
hear a motion?
I make a motion that we allow them to go forward and put the paperwork necessary for us to sign to go to DHCD, letting you know that when we finally see the paperwork, if there's something in it that isn't copacetic or we don't like, we could change our mind. But at this particular point, I'd say that that's the way I feel about it. How's that?
I'll second your
Does
motion.
that sound fair?
Yeah, so, but I think we need to be clear about the language.
Well, he was. It was adequate.
I was
It
pretty
was adequate
clear.
to the purpose.
It's a lip, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it's going to
the first step of
DHCD,
the
so.
LIP process.
Okay, I'll talk with you, Mr. Buckland, tomorrow then.
That sounds fine. The application goes through the Board of Selectmen, so you're in charge of the letter that goes to the.
Right, that's what I'm
DHCD.
saying. I need
So
to,
you can control anything that
Yeah.
comes out
Judy
of
will
this.
put the letter together. I'll put that in the motion if you'd like.
no.
It's not necessary, but
Okay, so there's
The
a
other one.
motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I'm going to ask for a vote, please. All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
Can,
Coming forward with
I'm
the
going to give
project.
you a call tomorrow morning, if that's
All
okay.
right, that sounds fine.
Hold on, that goes there. Okay, the next is to accept the donation, the Wareham Council on Aging in the amount of $1,860 from Salerno's, Inc. to the COA gift account.
Is there a second?
Second.
Generous donation to the Wareham Council on Aging in the amount of $1,860. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting it?
And the
say
letter-
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Unanimous?
Next, I
Was that
move,
from the
Thanks
sock
to the
hop?
Salernos.
It's from the saw copy.
Yeah.
next, I move we accept the donation of Wareham Free Library in the amount of $2,000 from the Friends of the Wareham Free Library for the operating expenses for the Spinney Memorial Branch of the Wareham Free Library.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? You skipped one.
I'll get to
All
it.
those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
get
Opposed?
to it.
Abstaining?
I get it. I get it.
500. Thank you very much.
Next, I move we accept the donation to the Wareham Council on Aging in the amount of $100 from Shirley, can you say that?
Kucharski.
Kakakis?
Kucharski.
Kucharkis?
Kucharski.
Kachowski?
Kucharski.
No, Kachowski. I'm sorry I butchered your name. Kachowski to the COA gift account.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining?
The appropriate letters are in there, by the way.
It is unanimous. Request from the Wareham Historical Society to place signs on town property. Do you
Yep,
those
I have it
locations?
right here, yep. I move that we approve the Wareham Historical Society for the Antique Fair, July 4th, 8 AM to 2 PM, Central Park. At any rate, they want to put signs at Town Green. WHDCD has approval. I can't even read it, I'm sorry. Police station and by the lighthouse is where they've asked for.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? It is unanimous.
Okay, next is discussion and possible votes to recommend our approval on articles for the 2022 annual spring town meeting. What? There's nothing else there. Oh, geez, oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I skipped one.
It's okay.
Discussion and possible vote on the Assistant Town Administrator's contract renewal.
We are bringing that out of executive session and for approval in open session. You have all reviewed it. We discussed it in executive session, so I'll accept a motion to approve the contract.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded for approval. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to say that I won't be voting in favor of it, but I think Miss Allen England does a good job. I just find that the contract terms and conditions are a bit more than I'm willing to vote in favor of at this point in time.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstaining?
3-2.
3-2-0. Thank you very much. Discussion and possible vote to recommend approval on articles for the Springtown meeting. And we have,
The capital plan, the budget, the EMS budget that we haven't done anything on yet, the
Yep.
water pollution control enterprise fund, union contracts, and that's it. Well, town clerk's elected, that's been withdrawn. So that's it. That's what we got left.
do you have any information for us, sir?
No, not really. It's usually, it would be helpful if before we had discussions on Thursdays.
Did you write?
Thursdays or something like that for the, for things put on there. Because I, as you know, in the last meeting, I was having difficulties, so I thought these were all set. The EMS, you were all handed copies from the Finance Committee with their budget in there, which is a reduced budget, so, I don't know, does anybody have any questions on it, or?
No, I don't have any problem
We're
with any of these.
looking at about a $200,000 surplus this year. You know, it's on the COVID change, so that's, if it's whatever action you want to take, it's still as an offset receipt, so.
I do send out a draft agenda, and I think you get it as well, but if you don't, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to send it to
Okay.
you. What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Alan has a
Alan?
question.
I attended the Finance Committee meeting this past Wednesday. I have what was presented at that point, and obviously I sat back and listened to all the different discussion. I don't have any issues with the budget as Mr. Sullivan brought forth. I don't know if it's anybody's packet or not.
And if you have opened your little magic book, the budget
It
is
should
in
be in
here.
there too,
It is in here.
Yep.
yes.
As proposed.
So,
So, what do we have on the capital plan there, Mr. Sullivan?
For this is for the annual town meeting?
Yes.
yes, sir.
That's, and I think that's what happened. I cut out at the last one when I was going, nothing, there's
Right.
nothing, yeah, so,
Thought so, so
yeah.
zero.
So
yeah,
this-
so I just have to,
Okay.
we'd pass over that,
So
so.
we're
that's a
passing
passover?
over that?
Somebody needs to notify the moderator to ask her to put it in the consent agenda. I guess you can take care of that this
All
week.
right, so the
We
budget and the
we
EMS
usually do the
budget?
motion, so we got that.
So,
The last time I wound
So-
up
can I
writing
have
a
a
motion.
motion on that?
Yes, I'm gonna give you a motion that I move that we recommend the budget, the EMS budget, Water Pollution Control Fund, and we're gonna hold off because you're gonna give us the contract tonight, right?
I'd ask
Yeah.
for individual votes because.
yeah, I think it's cleaner that way, please. Can we have,
That's why.
I've got an issue with the budget,
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so.
All right, that's fine. All
capital
right,
plan?
so the first one, I move that we recommend the budget, which is.
I'll second for discussion.
Article 7.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Yeah, my issues and why I'm gonna vote no, it's symbolic. I mean, I know that the board's gonna vote in favor of it. There's two issues here. One is, I think the job of town administrator has grown beyond the ability of one town administrator and two assistant town administrators who are dedicated to specific tasks to perform. And so I believe the town administrator needs to hire a mini-me or a projects coordinator or something or other. I really don't care what the title is, but I think that's something that's important. He can't be going out to look at every, complaint about a storm drain or a street light or this, that, and the other thing. Needs to be more big picture. I understand his desire to, take care of some of these things. We all like to control what goes on, but I think it's in the interest of the town to expand the staff he has available to perform his job. And it's not a knock on him, he's only one person, by any stretch. I wholeheartedly endorsed his contract, and I have no issue with his performance as an individual person. I just believe the job has gotten too big. The second thing is, I believe the half position that was cut out of the town clerk's office 3 years ago needs to be put back in. There's 2.5 full-time equivalents in that office right now. We're lucky that we've got a clerk who's, jumping in and pinching in and putting in extra beyond the time that the state makes her do extra to do things on Saturdays and all this, that, and the other thing. But, again, that's not where you want your department head spending the time. I think it's only fair to restore the half equivalent that was taken away at the time. And so that's why I would vote no.
Thank you. Any further
And again, I
discussion?
understand it's symbolic, but.
Any further discussion? Then I will ask for a vote on Article 7. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstaining? 410.
Oh, Judy, for the minutes, I'll give you this, which makes it easier.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is the EMS budget. Move that we recommend.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the EMS budget? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? All unanimous?
Next, we approve Article 10, or not approve, but recommend the Article 10, the Water Pollution Control Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? It is unanimous.
The last one is
I
union
just wanted to make
contracts.
sure that that one has not been presented by me in the water pollution control budget. And I think at town meeting, they should be presenting that
Right,
budget.
okay,
So,
thank you.
How come you didn't do it?
it's, their votes of an increase has caused me some challenges in considering their budget,
Well, wait a minute, I might want to reconsider.
so.
What about, capital plan?
Well, you know what, I'd like to reconsider that. I didn't realize the town administrator has a problem. And by the way, as far as finance goes for that department, that's up to him.
Okay. Do you-
He's in
are you-
charge of
do you wanna
finance, and
make
if
a
he hasn't
motion?
approved it, I'm not gonna vote for it.
Do you
I
wanna
move
make a
we
mo-
reconsider
Is there a second to
the
reconsideration?
motion for the Wareham Water
Thank you.
Pollution Control.
There's a motion and a second to reconsider. All those in favor of reconsideration, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? It is under reconsideration.
So I move that, I want to make sure that we have a problem with it, so,
Yeah, I think just to explain, they did not understand that they would collect the revenue in the same fiscal year of as their increase.
I see.
So,
So that's a
my,
given.
so looking at that, I think there's, they have two choices as to either show the surplus of revenue or to use it in capital or set aside as a capital fund, which makes a lot of sense.
This
They've
is a
got-
problem.
So,
I don't think that we can go with a recommendation of any kind, because they gotta iron that out. You can't go for we can't have a budget without it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be in there. And so they're gonna have to iron it out before town meeting.
Did you speak to the finance committee there on this?
I let the chairman of the WPCF know about this, and I didn't present their budget. I believe the WPCF department presented their budget.
Totally not appropriate.
Got an
Do you
issue?
have a question, Mr. Titlebaum?
Yeah, I mean, is this something that are the sewer commissioners meeting this week? And if so, is this something that could be resolved at their meeting so that we could just hold off on the recommendation vote until Monday night?
Yeah, I think you can certainly do that. It's,
Yeah, I'd like to give them time to address your concerns, whatever they are.
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
this is, the whole sewer commissioner things is, they're the really good, hardworking folks, but it's confused a lot of things and continues to do so.
well, but they're not gonna have a budget at all if this thing doesn't get through town meeting.
Well, we have to, when these get brought up and go through town meeting, it's then up to Mr. Foster and myself to defend budgets, not only to the residents, but to the Department of Revenue,
Yeah.
Right.
and explain why certain things have happened. Now, I just don't think they factored in their new EDU number
increase.
when considering their budget.
Would
So-
you be prepared to have a budget for them at town meeting that we could amend it to if it was necessary?
I'll go over their budget and I'll put what's in there.
Yeah.
It's just, the budget, technically, the budget they vote to send is the budget that's sent to me.
Right.
This is why it's a bit of a different scenario.
But you can change it. You're
Right.
the guy.
I'm the one that can amend it.
Remember, we changed that law
Yep,
just for
so-
that reason.
So I'm going through there, but I want everybody to be clear about that I don't want to hear that, the town administrator's doing things unilaterally or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
So,
Okay.
No.
I would ask you to work with them, try to resolve this, and let us know what's happening Monday night.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do, because if not,
Yeah.
they're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Okay, thank you.
They're gonna have a budget.
So there is no vote on that one?
No.
'Cause we've,
I'd like to address this a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Mr. Sullivan, just for clarification for myself, maybe other people, I don't know. So, this increase that they did they put an increase in the budget? Funded increase?
there's some funded increase, however, they did not, this was what was told to me, they did not anticipate getting the revenue that they voted. They thought that it was in arrears. Additionally, the $3 million articles that are coming forward, I think they thought that was going to hit the next fiscal year as well. Those payments will not hit till the prior fiscal year.
following?
Yeah, so, yeah, you'll have a ban probably, because you're only doing temporary borrowing until you build it.
Fiscal '24?
Yeah, probably 2024, just depending on how long, construction
So if they got
takes.
this increase, does it carry within their budget moving forward forever after?
It would, well, it's going to be, they'll have increases, but that revenue amount, that's the way to look at it, as a revenue amount. So, excuse me, the EDU revenue would carry forward, so, there's a couple different things they can do.
What would it be for the year? It's 1 year carry, right?
Yeah, I looked at it approximately $928,000.
Sizable chunk of change.
Right, so, now this.
Just a little.
This may sound strange to folks, but if they were saying we're dedicating that to the capital to, because to offset some of the capital costs going forward, that would make sense, which I think is what they're trying to do. They just haven't set it all up. And, but I think
Keeping
they,
it retained earnings?
well, yeah, they have a capital reserve.
Right, but
So they could vote,
Yeah,
within
yeah.
their budget to put that money towards the capital reserve.
so right now it was staying in retained earnings.
Right, it would have it would just show it as a revenue,
Right,
so
right.
you couldn't budget another expense against
Yeah,
it.
so that's not right.
No, it is not right.
But they've had that problem right along.
So, and that's why I think I think there's something that needs to be clarified. There's a lot of, I understand, they're right. Their capital costs are going to skyrocket.
Yes, they are.
However, everybody's costs are skyrocketing as well. So we need to make sure you're letting the people know what's sort of happening. So that was the one that just, has me a little uncomfortable.
Okay. Any further discussion on that one?
The only other note is the sewer commission, they're meeting after town meeting, not before, so.
So I can certainly take theirs and, show where I believe it'd be best. I can't change their EDU amount. Only they can vote their EDU amount.
Right.
That's not, so, I don't think it's wise to show it as just a leftover sum, because if I were paying that, I know what that would do to me, my blood pressure.
Yeah, it'd go right
So
up.
I think it's worthwhile to show it as either the going to the capital reserve or capital item. The reason why I say put it in the capital reserve rather than just let it go to retained earnings, if for some reason you don't get retained earnings for October town meeting, well, guess what? You can't utilize it.
Right.
If it's in the capital reserve, you can use that at whatever town meeting you need, and you don't have to rely upon retained earnings,
So you could move it anyway.
so.
You could move it.
Okay.
I can't, the town meeting out of.
Yeah, but you can move it when you present the budget.
Yeah.
Right.
When you get
So-
that, you could literally move it and say, okay, I move this to whatever,
Right, and I
it's
think that's
not
the
gonna be a
right-
problem. So I think you should do what you need to do to it. I mean, it's as simple
Okay.
as that. I mean, I give you all the authority we have to do it.
So outside of that, I mean, their
You have it
expenses
already.
their expenses and their day-to-day expenses are exactly what's put in there. They're, they've done a nice job with it. It's just that section that had me uneasy and trying to figure out how to present it. So I appreciate the guidance from the board.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just checking to see if the FinCom had taken a position on it, because if they have,
They have not.
okay,
Nothing here.
all right.
I've got the update right here, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that, because I didn't want them kind of hanging out there on this, too.
No, it's, they got zeros I hear. There's nothing here at all.
All right.
So the next one would be union contracts, and are you going to?
Well,
give
we're
us-
going to do that executive session
Oh, that's okay, so we'll hold it off till execs. Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, that's fine.
and going to the special.
Now we go to the special. Do I have a special sheet in here? I think I do.
You do.
Hold on. Everybody, hold on. I'm getting old, and this is like my last couple of meetings, so hang on
Okay,
with me.
so hang on, right?
All right, here we go. Transfer of available funds. Do we have any? I don't have
That's
anything.
Article 4.
That's
Didn't we-
S4, yeah.
We voted on that one. That was should be you've got the 200,000 for
35, yeah.
Deacon's, the 100,000.
Oh, yeah,
and
we did vote
35.
on that. How come it's not here?
Yep. I don't know.
All right, so
Yeah, we
that
did that
one.
last
We
week,
did
right?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
And we
that was
funded the
500
parking
if I
program
remember
too, didn't
correctly.
we not?
we're not adding anything to the parking program. We had enough funds left over from the last
Okay, so
one.
there's nothing to go there.
correct.
The transfer from available funds, we've already done that. We're gonna have to find out what the vote is, Judy. I'm just gonna put a question mark in there.
Yep.
PEG access receipts to Wareham Community. We didn't vote on that yet?
I thought you voted on
I
that.
thought
Oh,
we did.
yeah.
I
You
thought
know
we-
what? I don't know that this was updated, because I don't think the minutes have been done from last week
That's,
yet. So I
that's
think
exactly what it is.
Or maybe.
is.
Okay.
I went over
Well,
it
let's
with
just
her,
go
but she didn't,
through,
yeah.
just.
Well,
So,
and then you have the next one, the only other one that's out is that rescind Article 26. And then to add the revolving account, S16.
we voted on we did the rescind already.
Yep.
Okay, so these have probably been done.
No, I don't think the
Revolving accounts,
revolving
did you
account has
do?
not been done.
Is
So
the
those-
revolving fund, which one
Those
is?
should be the two that, they're listed right in the,
S16.
right in the warrant, so. it's,
16, is that the revolving fund? Which one are you adding? What's that for? For the golf course?
It should be one for the golf course and then one for Deacon's as well, because if there's,
Okay, it
If-
says accounts, so it has an S.
yeah,
I thought
Okay.
we voted those too.
Million, and the Deacon's was 750.
yeah, right, so.
There you go.
yeah.
I thought we voted those too.
And we voted that?
Yeah.
I thought so.
We're missing all this stuff, because the
All right,
minutes
so
haven't
that's
been done
missing.
from last week.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so we'll just go aside, because there's nothing else to do, so
Okay, good.
we'll put that aside, so there's
Yep.
nothing else.
Okay, good.
Next is, discussion, okay, we did that. Next is any other town business not reasonably anticipated, last 48 hours.
Nope.
Nope, okay, next up then would be the town administrator's report, please.
All
Although he's
right.
been so busy, he probably doesn't have much.
Oh, I can take hours.
Don't.
Well, the first, the first one is, I do want to check up with the board. You'd received a copy of the purchase and sales for Little Harbor, and the one caveat out there was that the board got to review it. Is everybody okay with me signing off on that? Any issues?
I'm fine,
I'm
Okay.
fine.
looked fine to me.
I'll take that as a go forth. The next item is we received two responses to the golf course maintenance and
really?
management. We've had two, put a committee together of two of the members from the advisory committee, Mr. Barrett and Mr. Gilberti, and select person Whiteside. They went through them to list the advantageous and such, so that's done. Now I'm going to review the price proposals, and once I reach out to the company, I'll let everybody know the recommendation, but that should be done within the next few days, just depending on some information that I receive.
That's perfect. Terrific.
So, those are, and we're getting ready for a town meeting. It's, I did receive a recommendation from a resident, so I'm going to try and act on some information that they were requesting. So, let's see if I can get that together. So, appreciate your time, and I'll stop talking. So.
Quick follow-up on the golf course contracts, were there financials involved in the proposals? On the golf course contract, on the RFPs, were there financials submitted with the proposals of the structure of which they wanted to operate? And
Right, how the, I think I'll clarify what I think you're saying is, so with the RFP, we first get their proposal, sort of structuring and their responses, and then there's a separate price proposal. And the separate price proposal is how it's structured, how how the payment would be done, yada, yada, yada. So-
would we get both?
What's that?
So both of them came within the,
Right, yeah, you separate them, that's required by 30B. You have to
Yeah.
have a
so
non-price
we
proposal.
can look at those, right?
Certainly, once I get through with the price proposal, I have to actually go through the procurement process, but you'll be able to see it.
No, I was just wondering, because I did a little reading on it, and I always thought, I think it recommended that it be integrated into the RFPs and not negotiated thereafter, but I might have been confused on that.
No, you have to do the non-price proposal first. The price proposal is always in a second envelope that has to be separated from it. You're supposed to go through and first rank them as to whether they've properly responded, then whether they're, so that's called the responsive part. Then the responsible is what you've gone through, what's highly advantageous. Do they have, 15 years experience, so forth and so on. And you take those and you rank them. But we also put in there that it would be the responsive and responsible bidder with the price considered. So that's otherwise you have to go with the. You want to do it so you don't have to go with the lowest or highest, just depending on.
You don't ever have to go with the lowest or
Right.
highest, the one that best fits the needs of the town. So we could still ask for both companies who responded, as long as their response was acceptable, to provide price proposals.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
Can you, or was I? Sorry, Rich, that's.
With your permission, Madam Chairman, there are 3 ways to solicit operators. Under 30B Section 4, which is more of an informal route, 30B Section 5, which is an invitation for bids, and 30B Section 6, which is an RFP. The reason, I'll just look at Sections 5 and Section 6 here. Section 5, all you're looking for is the lowest price on a set scheme of operating, scheme in the value-neutral way, a system of operating the course. So the low bidder gets it. But under Section 6, as I think you said, you are looking for quality in addition to price. And so persons who submit an RFP under Section 6, they send in an envelope. There are 2 envelopes inside of it. One is for the qualitative proposal, which just addresses the quality of services that they intend to offer. And then there's a separate envelope with the price. The qualitative proposal goes to an evaluation team, which does not get to look at the price. The team looks at it, ranks it according to the criteria that are listed in the RFP that was issued, and they come up with a ranking based on the criteria that are clearly set out in the RFP. Once that process is done, you get, in this case, you'd have the top-ranked proposal and then the second-ranked proposal. If the top-ranked proposal is on all fours with what you look for, it meets all the minimum criteria, and then the comparative evaluation criteria, they're the top rank based on that comparative criteria. They're the ones you go to. The second-ranked one you're not dealing with at that point. At that point, you look at the price proposals, and then assuming that the price proposal is within what you anticipate to be operational budgetary parameters, you, at that point, could make an award if you wanted to. You could try to negotiate with them to further reduce the price. You have to be careful how you do that, but it's possible. But at that point, in the scenario we're describing, the second proposer is off the table. You're not dealing with them at that point. Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving forward now?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so next is liaison reports.
Slavin?
Okay. I made my contribution to South Coast Hospital Services on Monday, so I'm fully EV now. I've got batteries front and back. I think my range is 6 miles and I'm done.
You got your plate?
0.6 miles is more like it.
0.6 miles?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
0.6?
I got plenty of lithium batteries, though. Okay, Joint Transportation Planning Group met last week on Wednesday. No changes on the TIP program for Wareham. Everything's still in place. MPO met today. which is the final group for putting things through, whether it's state, federal, or regional. Everything's in place. Again, Swift Speech Project is still on the list for 2023. I'm pretty happy with that. It got pushed up probably over 3 years where it normally would be. I hope most people realize that things that have to be done road project-wise, when the town submits it, if it's accepted by the state, can take normally up 5 years before it actually happens. So we're in really good shape for this one. Met, actually, I think it was Friday, the Bathhouse Committee group over at Onset met. Stuart, who's met before, was there, went through all their programs. They have a very aggressive programs coming for this coming year there. They picked up another boat, which I think holds 10 or 11 people, they mentioned. So take a look at what's going on there. It offers, for no matter what income level you're at, it offers opportunities everywhere. I did vote, I believe it was on Saturday, over at the district, the Wareham Fire and Water District. I was there at 3:20 in the afternoon. They closed at 4, and I was number 90. All I can say is that people complain all the time about costs from the districts, both Onset or Wareham. But all I can tell you is, if they ended up with 100 people voting out of
There were 98.
98 voted,
Yes.
I mean, I won't say it's disgusting, but it really is that way. That's just people not taking advantage of the ability to vote. So there should be no complaints, whatever goes on for this year here, because nobody showed up to speak of. The FinCom met on Wednesday, and like I said, I'll have to check with Bernie. I thought they had gone through Derek's budget, and maybe they didn't vote to accept it. I thought they had. Yeah, everything else went through smoothly there. As you can see, we've got the warrants all put together. They were doing that on Friday. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Manise?
Thank you, Bob. Recycling committee meeting tomorrow, I believe, 6 p.m. via Zoom. Thought it was 5, but it says 6 on here. So, anybody's interested, you can go to the town website and look up the information. I don't know if Mr. Sullivan can attend. I know he's pretty busy, but we did discuss if he could come to a meeting soon, because they'd like to have some discussion with him.
Yeah, and we deposited that full grant into their account for the year, so.
Well, that's a good thing. I'll thank you for that. But I'd like to talk to you about
Yeah.
what your ideas and thoughts are for them and moving forward and whatnot. And
Yeah.
it's not an easy discussion, but I think it's good to discuss it with the
Yeah.
full group.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Tuttle?
Yeah, the Redevelopment Authority hosted a workshop meeting on Thursday night in the Town Hall Auditorium, and we had over 50 people there. It was a pretty good turnout, which I was pleased because, you know, I know Mr. Swenson had previously, you know, in conjunction with the master plan and work on that, had tried to organize similar sorts of things on his own and just couldn't stir any interest. So it was nice to see that. The purpose of the meeting was more or less for the consultant to sort of get a feel from residents of what they might, the sorts of things they might want to take place down there and what they would like to see. So it's the first step. There would be many additional public outreach meetings, you know, during the course of coming up with a plan. So this was just the first step. No decisions are made at this point. And there should be another public meeting coming along, I think in May or June was how we left it. So I just wanted to report
Only
that.
one thing in it.
Thank you. Mr. Tropiano, any liaison reports?
I have nothing.
Thank you. I have nothing either then.
All right. Then consent agenda. I have 2 sets of minutes. Now, first is Board of Selectmen executive session minutes from March 29, 2022. I move that we approve them, and we will not be holding these because the reason that we were going to hold them for is done. We just voted in open session, so it's done.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve and not hold. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Next, I move we approve the minutes of a regular scheduled Board of Selectmen's meeting of March 29, 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on those motions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sign both of those.
Abstaining, okay, thank you.
All right, next, I'm gonna move that we go into executive session to discuss the steelworkers A and B and the wastewater laborers, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation. If an open meeting may be detrimental, effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second,
Second.
Motion made and seconded, and I'm going to poll the board. Mr. Slavin?
yes.
Mr. Moniz?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Titlebaum?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And we will not be coming back
We
into
will not
regular
be coming
session.
back, so,
Good night.
good night, Wareham.
We'll wait to
Thank
get
you very
the-
much.
The no sign, I'm gonna hit the head.